Well, hey there, neighbor, and welcome back to Front Porch Friday here on the Farm to Table Show. If you've been walking with us through the 7 steps to self reliance, then you know that we've been on more than just a journey. We've been building a life. That's right. So this morning, pour your fresh cup of coffee, kick your boots up, take a breath, and we're going to look back at everything we've covered so far. 5 steps in and deeper every week. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome in. This is Ryan. And we're going to bring in somebody. We're going to bring Bro in, and he's going to hang out with us here on the front porch Friday. Hey, Bro, how's it going?
Doing good, man. Thanks for inviting me on the show.
Yeah, right. He's only, co host, partner, general all around guy. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's all right. I don't mind sitting over and chat. I have a good time with that. But it's nice also to get back on screen and talk to people.
oh, yeah, for certain. I mean, I usually don't get that experience unless I'm on somebody else's live. So it's,
Right. Sorry, bro.
it is what it is. But anyway, well, bro, we're 5 weeks into the 7 steps of to self reliance, or the 7 self reliance steps, however you want to say that. And man, what a 5 weeks it's been. But
Yeah. Honestly, I'll tell you that being on the other side of the fence while you get out there, I'm kind of taking the journey right along with everybody else that's in chat, even, maybe they don't realize it, but, I'm not really all that heavily involved with the bringing the material out and knowing what's coming up next. I get a little bit of an insight into that, so I'm enjoying this right alongside everybody else, and so I can speak to, how how I've received it over the last 5 weeks.
right. Well, it's been a journey. I mean, I look back and say, man, it's been 5 weeks, and then I look back and say, yeah, but it's been 5 weeks, and there's been a lot of shows there. It's 20, roughly. I mean, I think there may have been one day that we added a couple of episodes in, for Memorial Day and a couple of things like that. But I mean,
Right.
overall, I mean, it's been 5 weeks, and plus the Fridays, recapping and talking about it. But and it's I mean, I was sitting there. I actually had to go back and think there was so much, that I had to go back and look and say, man, what all did we talk about? There was so many topics,
Oh,
you
right.
and it was like kind of looking back over it and saying, wow, what is, what are these topics and where did we go? And it's like, man, it was, and, I got to learn too. That was the good thing about it is, I mean, in getting
Mhm.
ready, there was a lot of learning in there, and, it's been a lot of fun. And, anyway, so let me say hi to everybody in chat because, well, if you haven't figured this out by now, it is Memorex. Unfortunately, we are not live. This is Memorex, Ryan and Keith today. Uh,
Yeah.
but Keith will be able to join you in chat. He'll be there as the Farm to Table Show in the chat as normal. When you're watching this, I will be on the road to another farm somewhere. I'll not dive too far off into what's going on with my job right now, but let's just say chaos is the best way to describe it. And so, yeah, I'm having to. I don't know from day to day until the end of the day what my start time or where we're. I just it's chaos. And today is the day that I have to be in. Well, I've got to be in there at 5 a.m. So yeah, I'll already be in there in my truck and on the road before everybody's here. So you and Scotty and everybody can turn the lights on and keep it rolling. But so hopefully you all have enjoyed this 5 weeks and enjoyed and have learned, and share with Keith there in the chat, or bloop bloop in the comments. If you've had a favorite moment, or if there's been something that just really kind of resonated with you over those last 5 weeks. And then of course I won't be there most likely, but to be able to read it. But Keith can share that back, that feedback. He can reply to you, and then of course share it with me while this is airing live. So. Because we want to know that what we're doing is resonating, that it's that y'all are finding it valuable, hopefully a little entertaining
Mm.
along the way, and we have fun. But and certainly the chat box is loaded with, of course, our court jester Scotty, and plenty of the good stories and stuff that others share of what's going on. So definitely enjoying that. But so, bro, we'll start out with kind of maybe a favorite topic or a favorite episode or a favorite, kind of one thing that kind of hits you if you can remember something, that kind of resonated a little bit.
Yeah, sure. Um, that it was kind of like drinking water from a fire hose. There's just a lot of information out there, and I can honestly say that I've been helped
Right.
by the things that I heard, the things that you uncovered over the last 5 weeks. And man, picking a single thing out that would be my most favorite topic, uh, I guess the one that resonates with me, and man, it's just really close. Um, but the thing that resonated with me is the network building and making friends, and you just most recently talking about your five, you're building your local five and everything, and it kind of reminded me that we've got more than five, but they may not be local. We've got a whole lot more than five,
Oh, really?
but but they're not necessarily in our backyard, where we are. I do have a couple there, but um, yeah, I just kind of wanted to say how that resonated with me, in as much as what was it, a year or two ago? I had no idea who most of the people in our chat is.
Oh,
I didn't know who they are, and now I do. And one of the things that I can say, uh, both through just introductions, by doing what we do, um, I've met so many other homesteaders out there. A lot of them have channels, some of them don't, and just getting to know some of them personally, because we've had those opportunities to meet up with them at different expos and things, and get eyeball to eyeball
that's right. Get a
with
hug.
them.
Get a hug from
Yeah,
people.
and in some places, you get close enough that they reach out and hug you. Hey, I'm a hugger. Okay, let's hug it. And it becomes a hug fest after a while. But anyway, um, yeah, I think that's what resonated with me, and I can tell you it was more than just a theory that we're putting out here, about building your network of people that be known and know people and be known yourself. And I think that's really important. And the idea there is that I'm not the expert at a lot of these different things, but we were talking about it the other day that I bet you if we came up with a problem, we probably know an expert that would not mind us reaching out to and asking them about, um, whatever problem that may happen to arise. And I can tell you, this is not just a theory. In practice, it's already happening behind the scenes. The people in our chat probably don't know. Some of them do, but there's been some off-screen things that's happened with us, with people that we know, and it's it's amazing to me, that network is tightening up because of those types of things. So being involved with, you know, programs like the Farm2Table Show, and being a part of the Sunday chats and all of that, that we actively participate in, has tightened up friendships and networks and things like that. And you know what? It's not closed to everybody else. It's not just open to people who have homestead channels. It's open to anybody who wants to join.
Right.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so in practicality, and also I'm reminded that even we've helped other people network. And
Right.
man, what a feeling that is. It's like a little payoff, for what we do,
Right.
that you were able to make a connection between this person and a group or something like that. And so, yeah, this whole idea about being a known entity. Uh, and if you don't mind me hogging a little bit of a little attention here,
Well,
uh,
that's what
I've been
Fridays.
starved for it. Yeah. Um, but with the things that's going on in the world, I've seen headlines that, man, you don't need like a bunker right now. What you need is good neighbors. I
Right.
just seen that headline out there, and I thought, yeah, yeah, you're right. You need good neighbors with some of the stuff that's going on right now.
You know what? It's crazy.
Um, yeah, it's been a crazy world out there this week, and we don't talk about that a lot, and I'm not going to start it here tonight. But
Right.
anyway, I'm just very thankful, to our people in chat and the people that we've got to know in this movement, the homesteading movement. And yeah, I think that was the number one thing, probably, if I had to pick one,
Right.
would be that. Yeah.
And you brought that up. I mean, about knowing who to call, and I can think back to reaching out to Dwayne Hall just recently because I'm needing to treat my yard for ticks, but I don't want to use the chemical stuff that you buy at the stores because
Hmm.
I don't have I don't want my animals, I don't want my pets and all that stuff, and I don't want to be harmful to my soil or anything like that. And so I thought, well, who do I know that could maybe help me with that? And Dwayne came to mind, and so I gave him a ring, and we talked about it, and he gave me a solution, which was agricultural sulfur or elemental sulfur. It's in pellets, and you put it in there, and you spread it with a spreader, and it's good for the soil. It's a soil builder,
Yeah.
but it pretty much, from what he says, and I'm going to try it out, is ticks, fleas, mosquitoes, and pretty much anything else that doesn't want to smell it is gone. Yeah,
Good to
uh,
me.
right, and it will. There'll be
You'll
an
keep
open.
your brother away. Did you do that on purpose?
But I'm just saying is I had a question, and who do I call? And vice versa. And there's a long list of people that are on that if we have something, we got somebody we can usually reach out to via call or text or email or direct message or something like that. So I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Just the importance of a network. I mean, and yeah, this is a bigger network, because most of these people don't live in our neighborhood. They don't live next door. It'd be great, but they don't. Um, but it is a bigger overall network, and the five that needs to be five people where you are, not at large. And
Right. Yeah.
but yeah,
I got to work on that.
yeah. Well, I mean, I've got a little bit here, but I mean, yeah, developing out that five, and there's a lot of this stuff that as we're going through it, and I'm studying it, and we're learning it together a little bit, and most of this stuff hits home for me. I mean, most of this stuff is things that, and listen, and folks, keep this in mind. I'm at through step five on the list from a talking about it and teaching it standpoint, but you don't go from step zero to step five in 5 weeks. It doesn't happen that way. This is a long term plan. We're just covering it. And so, if you're like me and you're at early step, early in the early stage, or maybe you're a little further down, it's okay. It's a big, long journey. This is just laying it out in a teachable and understandable format and an ability to tackle it and say, okay, I've got this checklist of things I need to work on. And, in truth, sometimes you're working on multiple steps at one time because there's things within those steps that are interactive with each other and can be done simultaneously, you know. So it's not, you got to do step one, then you get to move to step two. No, all the way through that process, you can be working in different areas on the steps. But
So I want to play host for just a minute and kind of turn the table on you, and you know, you being the teacher, in this case, what's that experience been like?
man, it's it's daunting at times because there is so much, and trying to sort that down, and build those steps out, and and what we're doing, I mean, or at least in my mind, what I'm doing is taking, it's knowledge that's already out there. I mean, it's not new. I'm not reinvented anything or come up with a, fresh idea. It's taking these things that are out there that others have shown and taught and consolidating them into a consumable, way, or a way to put it into a task list, if you will, or a plan, that is that. But it's been daunting, and especially, I mean, there's a little bit of overwhelmness, I guess, when you know that there are people in the chat or people that are watching later. Some of our watchers that don't participate in chat, that's fine. But these people, they're living this every day. Even
Yeah.
more than and they're doing these things. So every time I look through a subject and I'm coming up with steps and I'm talking about things, I have to look at myself. I have to question it, because it's like, okay, if this is bogus material, or if this is erroneous information, or if this is false, somebody in there is going to call me out on that. So
You
I have,
keep waiting, huh?
well, and I'm okay. But I mean, if I make a mistake, I
Yeah.
want somebody to, hey, this, but what I have found is people saying, hey, yeah, we tried this and this is what we do here, or we tried that, and so there's been interaction with things they've done. They've done these things at one time or another, or they're in the process of doing. I know Tracy just commented the other day about how they've got some stuff with some tool stuff, that they do, and as far as like a share kind of thing, it's just different things people have tried, and it's a good thing. And then also, quite a few feedbacks of, that's good food for thought, or thanks for bringing that to the forefront, or thanks for, kind of maybe highlighting these things that, and I listen, I know step 4 was rough. Step 4 was kind of a hit you in the gut, uh,
Yeah, it really was. Yeah. Check
and
yourself, right?
right, and it was for me too. But so yeah, it's been rewarding though, because I've got to learn, for one, and kind of that knowing that there's people in the chat who live this life daily, who do a lot of these things, or they've already done these things. It's good that it's there, and when people are validating or saying yes, it's the right track. But
Yeah.
it was a little daunting to say, am I going to be this guy that comes out here and talks about this, and puts this in this format and says, here's this 7 steps, you know?
Mhm.
And, I mean, we've referenced Dave Ramsey because, I mean, it was kind of that model of 7 steps, you know, and, he's putting information out there that, economists and other people could challenge if it was erroneous material. So
Sure.
it's the same principle here. There's stuff coming out that if it's erroneous, or if it doesn't work, or it's, Pinterest, you know, uh, somebody's going to call it out, or could call it out, so, and I like that I get a lot of add-on, people add on information to it, the extra
Mhm.
steps or things they've done. So it's allowed me to open up and learn. So that's been really the cool part
So
as the teacher.
earlier, earlier you mentioned Tracy, and
Yeah.
so I think it's only fair that we kind of let people who don't know who Tracy is, she's got a homestead channel that's called Grow What You Eat,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
we encourage people to go out and check her out. It's Tracy and Tim,
Yeah. They've also got
and
Our Kitchen with Tracy and Tim, I think. Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's who he was referring to. We've got a whole lot of channels,
Oh yeah.
that we know out there, and
It's like with solar, and chainsaws. I'm calling Terry.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, of course.
But I mean, no, little poke there, Terry. Sorry,
Yeah.
but
So,
there's a
yeah,
lot
go
of
ahead.
information, that
Yeah.
he lives off grid, you know,
Hmm.
and so there's a different dynamic with what he has to do, and so again, same thing. Robbie raising different all the different people, one of our new friends, Jeff, who's up in New York and is
New
living
York.
living a different kind of life. People don't know that part of New York exists unless they're, uh, and so, I mean, the group of chat and the group in the chat and the group of people that watch the show, some who, like I said, there's so much expertise in that group, that to me, it just
Okay.
adds, you know,
Yeah. So now that you've said that, I feel obligated to go back and try to give people Robbie is the wild huckleberry. If you want to do that, if you don't know
So
who he
solid. Yeah,
is,
wild
go
huckleberry.
check him out.
Yeah.
And TNT Homestead is Terry, the
Right.
one that we were
Right.
ribbing about the chainsaw.
Hmm.
You know,
And
he massacred his leg.
right. And he tried to, yeah, yeah. And I mean, and there's so many. I mean,
And
it's
then Jeff,
yeah, Jeff with Muddy. Is it Muddy Acres? Yeah, it's Muddy Acres. Right. Yeah.
yeah, I think it's Muddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't write that one
So,
down, because I see it all the time. But yeah, I mean, yeah,
yeah,
there's so many people that come in, and I mean, I almost
right,
hate naming people because you'll miss somebody.
right.
But
You know,
it's
before you move on from that, bro, I want to kind of get your feeling. I don't think we've really talked about this, but it seems to me that the chat has kind of taken on its own life. Have you noticed that?
yes, the tablers,
The tablers, yeah.
tablers.
And it took me a minute to put that together. I'm thinking, oh wait, that's us.
Well,
What are you
yeah,
talking about?
Scotty, our court jester and resident light switch operator.
Yeah, Lone
Came,
Cross Scotty.
yeah, Lone Cross Scotty came up with called it Tablers Unite and this type of stuff. So I guess that's kind of my tablers over there instead of the morning crew.
Right.
Whatever, it's the tablers. So
Wow. And you know, we had named Hank, which if you don't know who that is, you'll see him at the end of this show,
right,
which is our animated pig. You
right.
know, and so I'm sorry, animated cow,
So it's, I ain't got
and yeah. But just this week, the rooster in the beginning of the show got
yeah,
named Johnny.
yeah, named him Johnny Rooster. That's it. Yeah. So
Yeah,
so yeah.
and so it's kind of like yeah, it's kind of growing into its own thing over there, and it tickles me to death. It's actually fun to partake, you know, and be a part of
It's
the chat.
Terry mentioned it on yesterday's show. How he knew I was live was because I was distracted by the chat.
Yeah,
And it was because usually there's something funny popping off over there, and it's when I'm in that first 10 to 15 minutes of topic time, I
right.
try to stay focused in and not get caught up or distracted, and then just go back through. And because I promise you, if I stopped and read and stopped and worked, it would be an hour show because it would take me
Yeah,
that.
you wouldn't get anything much done, right?
It
So,
would be so the information would be so split up that it would just not be useful.
okay, listen, bro, come in real quick because I don't want the guys in chat to hear what I'm going to tell you.
What's up?
But maybe during the recorded show, throw them off by acting like you're distracted.
Maybe that'll work. What? I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Uh, no, uh, no. Like I said, I mean, trust me, I prefer the live all day, every day. But unfortunately, it just doesn't work that way. But I'm gonna, and I'll share. Just I told you earlier when we were talking, the one, the part that kind of hit me was
yeah,
replacing your income. And that to me was, if you and and I've always heard if you don't like your situation, change it.
mhm,
And so but yeah, replacing the income replacement, where I'm not slave to a job, of the sense of giving my time, you know, to a job that honestly just doesn't care if I'm there. They care if I'm there when I'm there, but if I left, you know, so what, but so that kind of is, even just as a side income to start and, replacing, yeah, that kind of hit me of like, okay, how can I buy back my time? How can I, you know, get into that and get into a situation where my time and my money work for me, and so, versus me working for them. And so,
right.
so that one kind of hit me, but probably is,
Got your juices
yeah, I got
flowing,
my
right?
juices flowing. I mean, a lot of these things have hit me, but that one really kind of got my brain going. Really kind of got me thinking outside the box, so to speak, and kind of really got me thinking. What can I do? And researching and looking into it. And I've got an idea, which I've shared with you, and I'm not quite ready to
Share with the world.
share with the world just yet. But I've got an idea. I'm working on it. I got my first order of some of the stuff I need for it in today. So we'll
Nice.
see. So, sorry, folks, I can't tell you just yet. Kind of gotta
Right.
have to wait on it. But
You don't want to jinx it.
don't want to jinx it. It's already seems like forces conspiring. I don't need to
Yeah.
anymore. But anyway, when I do, I'll share. But anyway, what I want to do real quick because I'm looking at the clock up there, and we're kind of starting to get long in the time. But is I'm just going to go through the 5 steps that we've covered real quick, and then set us up for next week. So
Yeah.
step one was kind of got a becoming aware of the system, waking up, wanting it, becoming aware of a system that is broken. The hard truth, the system's not broken, just broken. It's built that way. We said it, talked about living in the illusion of freedom while depending on fragile supply chains and supply systems. And the real security doesn't come from a paycheck or a stock store shelf, but knowing how to provide for yourself. And then step two was grow something, anything,
Mhm.
store bought to homegrown. We kind of challenge y'all to plant more than just seeds, plant change. Grocery habit, about breaking it with a few backyard things. Remember, we talked, I think, about the $10 homestead challenge, I think was one of the things we talked about.
Mhm.
Um, and it don't take much. But anyway, but the main thing is growing something gives you confidence, and it gives you that ability to take back that control. Um, step three, it's basically it's the DIY mindset. It's the use what you've got kind of mindset that, self reliance isn't more stuff. In fact, I think that was the episode I said, don't buy anything. Yeah, it was the step I said, don't buy anything. Uh, but it's what you already got that, from patching leaks to fixing fences, if you're the only handyman, you got, and that was those skills and that toolbox, type thing. So, in the top 5 skills that every homesteader needed, which mostly is being a DIY handyman guy, fixing it yourself. And then step 4, of course, replacing one system at a time. That was the making the exit, the escape room and all that. And that was the tough, and that was what it was, a systemic exit, how to think like someone who's already free, the escape room, and then we covered the hard choice of power cut, and then the hidden grid, which we mapped out, and then of course strengthening the local roots, and kind of
Yeah.
what that's about not being a lone wolf, and about screen time. We talked about kind of that local circle, and going from working within your micro economy of your town and building that network out. So I mean, anyway, I know that's a rough recap. I mean, I could pull down and get every title, but we'd be here all day. So 5 steps in, and man, what a ride!
Yeah. Like I said, it was like drinking water from a fire hose at
Right,
times. It's like, oh my gosh, how can I add that to my list?
right. And it's hey, we went through a lot, but
What you got coming up?
not done yet. Next week we dive into step 6, and step 6 is invest in your land, your tools, and your time. So
And your tools and your time.
that's right. Uh, Own your production, steward your resources, whether it's 1 acre or a rental home. Make where you live work for you. Prioritize quality tools, rainwater catchment, energy storage, food systems, and infrastructure. Invest monthly in a tool project or improvement that increases independence, because land is leverage, tools are freedom, and time is your greatest wealth. So that's kind of what you got to look forward to next week, folks. Step 6. So I don't think any of them are going to be as challenging as step 4 was, but
Yeah.
it's going back over things, and it's reinforcing, and getting us ready, in that, because in some kind of theory, by the time you get to step 6, you're a little bit further along the journey, and so it's time to start doing it. But again, there's nothing wrong with taking stuff from step 6 at the beginning. It's a overall process. So, like we said, but bro, I'm looking at the clock. We got to wrap. No roll call really today. Of course, as we're not we're Memorex. No redneck weather report. But I've got a brain buster for you, bro.
Of course.
Of course. Why is the pizza box square if the pizza is a circle and the slice is a triangle?
Wow, that's a geometric question there, isn't it?
Make all you math guys think. I got 2 IT guys in the
Hmm.
crowd. out. I'm sure they can.
By the way, I think I've seen some triangle single slice little boxes
Yeah,
before. I've
yeah.
seen that.
I
I
have.
haven't seen a round pizza thing
I
or
haven't
pizza box. So
seen around
yeah,
people
Hmm.
man, but I haven't seen
Things
around.
to keep you right.
Yeah,
Things to disturb your head throughout the day while you try to get stuff done.
that's it. Just things that kind of hit you later on when you're like, wait a minute. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Exactly.
But anyway, so yeah, just a little one there. I'll even repeat it. Why is the pizza box a square if the pizza is a circle and the slice is a triangle? Yeah, who? Yeah, they played attention to geometry class there. That's for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, quote of the day. We'd be remiss without that. And since today was just kind of a recap and it wasn't really specific topic driven, I just went with kind of one that's I think I've used before even, but I brought it back. Which is homesteading is the ultimate act of rebellion against a system that encourages dependency. Arthur Unknown.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
I could have wrote that.
yeah,
You
homesteading.
could have wrote that, and just about anybody else
That's
in
it.
our circle could have wrote
It's an
that.
ultimate act of rebellion against a system that encourages dependency. That's
I
right.
like
Yeah.
it.
So,
True story.
true story. No kidding. There was true story. Me and Joe. No, anyway. But don't get me on the no kidding true story. Yeah.
Okay.
Someday we don't have time for that today. I'll have to catch everybody up on that one day. But
All right.
we can have on a Friday. We can have a laugh about it. But anyway, uh, well, bro, I'm going to tell you, man. I think it's time we get everybody out of here and let them get on with their Friday and their
Yep.
weekend. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Wish we were there with you live. Keith will be in the chat, so y'all get to enjoy this while I'm off slaving for the man. But anyway, but that's okay. Part of what happens to happen with the job. But anyway, that is a wrap for today on the Farm to Table Show Morning Edition, Front Porch Friday. Thanks for joining us as we strive towards building a stronger communities for now and in the future. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to hit the like button, give me the old thumbs up, share it with your friends, and if you're not already, subscribe to our channels on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Rumble. And Keith is playing with the controls. It is the best way to stay connected and help grow the conversation about food, farming, and community. Until next time, keep your roots deep and your vision growing. Good food starts with great people, just like you. And remember, we are hashtag stronger together, hashtag think outside the big box store, hashtag tablelers unite, hashtag self-reliance, and everything else you can think of that goes with the hashtag crowd over there. But anyway, it's always a new one every day, I think. But anyway, appreciate you all being here. Be a blessing to someone today and this weekend. Go out, enjoy it. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there this weekend. If you're cooking out on the grill or you're out doing things, be safe. Have a good time. Celebrate that. Enjoy your time with family. And we will see you all back here Monday morning, 6 a.m. right here on the Farm to Table Show Morning Edition, where we dive off into step 6. So on the self-reliance scale. So anyway, everybody have a great weekend. Bro, I'll talk to you later after a while. All that good stuff. Thanks for joining in with me and helping me do this today. And
It was fun. My pleasure.
absolutely. All right. Well, we're going to hand this to Hank to take us on out of here.
Take it away,
No humans were harmed in the production of this podcast.